Yeah, hello, this is Combatpainter, and I'm going to show you how to use coarse pumice gel to base 28 millimeter figures. I really like this pumice gel because it's neat and contained. I have everything I need basically in one jar. This is as opposed to using sand and glue. I've based almost every way imaginable, and I just like the way this format turns out. So I realize that there's a lot of different people out there with a lot of different opinions on how they like their figures. I'm going to show you how I like mine and the reasons that I choose to use the pumice gel. Now this jar is from Golden, that's the company that makes it, and it's a 32-ounce jar. It comes out to be about $24, and it'll last me at least a year. Now, how many figures do I paint? Well, I paint every week. It's hard to exactly say, but anything that lasts me a year and for $24, I'm pretty happy with. You know, I never really calculated, and it's probably cheaper to use sand than glue, but it's also a whole lot messier, and I hate you know, having to wipe up glue and having to clean up and sweep up sand that gets on the floor and all over you and all that. I'm gonna get now what I've done is I've taken some out of the jar. I don't use it right out of the jar because it'll dry up a lot sooner. So I get a little cup and I put some on the side of the cup, and right here on the side you see the types of paints that I use for basing. I'll use these in a lot of different ways, different colors, depending on how I'm feeling. I'll do washes or I won't do washes. I'll do dry brushing or I won't do dry brushing, depending on the situation. But these are craft paints. They're very cheap. They're perfect for basing. They'll last a long time, and if they dry out, hey, listen, it only costs you $1.50. So you throw them out and you get a new one. But I've had these maybe a couple of years as well, so it's all very affordable. So I'm going to start out here. I'm going to push these over to the side so we have a little bit more space, and I'm going to grab a couple of figures. These are 28 millimeter figures, and they're put onto about, I don't know, 20-25 millimeter round plastic bases. Alright, so what I do is here is with the tool, you can pick whatever preferred tool you have, is I pick up the figure and I kind of put it on the side. Okay, and then let's see, put it towards the front here as well. Try to be careful to not get it on the figure. Now I go to clean up the tool, and I go to the next one. Pick it up, put some on this side, turn it around, put some on the other side as well. And there you see how you get started, right? Okay, so I'm going to be doing 4 of these for you pretty quick. I don't like to get repetitive on these videos. I've seen a lot of them, and they kind of go through an 8-minute process of doing something, and it's a little bit too long when it's obvious what exactly you're doing. So now I grab a brush. I like to keep it moist, and I'm going to spread this out. And more than spreading is pushing. I push away from the outside of the base in towards the inside of the figure, and this is going to avoid the issue of the figure getting a lot of this material on it. And if sometimes you do get something on it, well, you wipe the brush and you wet it, and then you just kind of get the paste, the gel, off the figure. Alright, so this is pretty quick now. I've gotten the first one, and what I'm just going to do is wipe the sides. Okay. I'm wiping the sides, and I just make sure every little crevice on the base is kind of filled in there, right? And then I push down. I like to even it out where it meets the base on the figure. I don't know if you're seeing that. Hope you are. There you go. And you just kind of even it out a little bit towards where it meets the figure. There you go. So you don't notice where the figure's base is and where the ground is, where they meet. You don't want to let anybody see that. Okay. Now I go to the next one, and again I'm just pushing it. I'm pushing it towards the figure. You're not painting it or anything like that. Just kind of pushing it towards the figure, avoiding the knees, avoiding the shoes, avoiding the pants as much as possible. Right, just like that. Now, when it's getting stuck to your brush, what you do is you put it in some water, you shake it in some water, you dry it a little bit, and again, it flows beautifully. It doesn't stick there at all. Okay, this is almost done there. Okay, now you wipe it. There. Pretty good. There it is. Very nice. That's two. We got two down. So for me, I mean, this is pretty quick. Yeah, it could be quicker to just put some glue on it and dip it in sand. But you know what? I just haven't liked the results of that. It's very sloppy. There's sand everywhere. But I guess if you become really, really good at it, you can make it amazing as well. Because I've seen all types of different methods used by different people, and they work for them because I guess they've done it so many times, and it works nice for them. So, but this is the style that works for me. I wipe this one down as well. My fingers have a little. Let's wipe my fingers down. Now I could have a little rag, a wet rag. That would make my life easier. Don't have it right now. Okay, my cat is having a fit, and there you go. Okay, so I've done three pretty much. Now this one is going to probably have to get a little X-Acto knife and clean that little spot there. It looks like there's a little piece of plastic sticking out. Okay. Alright, so I did those three. Now let me show you. Now let me show you one that basically dried out right there. So that's the way it's going to look like when it dries out. And then you paint it, and it's going to look like these once it's painted. Okay. Now from there, there's a couple of different things you can do. You can wash, or you can dry brush. If you dry brush, very simple. You take a lighter color. Right? You take a lighter color. Let me dip it in there. Let me find some paint in there. Alright. Now mine is a lazy dry brush, because I know a lot of people wipe it off on all types of paper. I'll wipe it off on my hand or whatever I have around available, and I kind of just go over it like that. See that? Now if you get it on the side of the base, I do my sides of the base black. A lot of people don't like that. They want it the same color as the top. Now this is kind of not an official dry brush. A little bit too much paint on the brush. Okay, but at the end of the day, I'm going to put some flock on this, and a lot of it is going to be covered up. So I'm not so precise and exact. Okay, try to get in there a little bit. And there you go, a little bit of that. Now what I do is, I let it dry a little bit, and I could go over it with even a lighter color. Again, depending on how many figures I'm doing, what type of figures they are. They could be a command figure, for example. And if it's a command figure, I'll put a little bit more effort into it. There. This one's a little bit lighter now, right? Again, I'll try to get this one. If you see this now, here you go, okay? And then again, I'm doing the lighter color on this. Okay. There you go. So it's dry brush now. You see two examples. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of, well, we got to let it dry. And we're going to put down a little bit of flock on there. I usually lay down a little bit of glue right under the feet. Right, you're going to see it now. Grab some Elmer's glue. Lay it right down under the feet. You're going to see that in a second. Let's see if this is coming out. Sometimes it doesn't. No. Closed up on me. Let me get in there. Okay, we got it coming out now. So we put a little tiny dab under the feet. There. I like that, just like that. I don't like to overdo it with the flock. Okay, there you go, a little bit of glue. And then there's so many different flocks that you can use for this. I like the static grass, works well. I mean, a lot of people use static grass. But also the standard flocks, they work well. And here's some static grass. Push this over. Push these over to the side. All right. Get a little bit of static grass. Okay. And here I have this tool. And what I'm going to do is, the dry brush, I'm going to flatten out the glue just, oh, got a little bit on the leg there. So then you just wipe it down. Okay, just push down on the glue right underneath the feet. There. Same thing with this boy. Do the same thing, go around the feet a little bit. A little bit around the feet. There. Okay. Now, should be pretty nice now. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this. I'm going to go right under there and drop it in. Boom. Push it through. And what I'm going to do now is blow on it. Okay. And there you go. Okay, that's one down. Let's get this one as well. A little bit of glue, not too much. I mean, a little bit of the static grass on a little bit of glue. Not too much. You don't want to overdo it here. Okay, and again, knock a little bit of off. Blow on it. And there you go. You got another one down. So you got two down there. Alright, and now you can see what they look like. You may have to go over the edges with some black and maybe cut off that little piece of plastic there to polish off the base. but it's a pretty decent base, and it's pretty quick, and it's nice and neat, no mess, and you're ready to go. Alright, I hope this helps you. Thanks.